Alex Morono versus Rhys McKee. We got minus 200 on Alex Morono and plus 170 on Rhys McKee. Just of note, Morono did open at minus 240, and we have seen a little bit of money come in on Rhys McKee, and I completely understand as to why that is. So let's start off with the second time UFC fighter Rhys McKee, who came in on somewhat short notice against Khamzat Chimaev. For everybody that remembers, Khamzat is the hottest shit in the UFC at the moment. He had that fight against John Phillips, absolutely ran through him, and then was demanding a fight shortly thereafter, and he got his wishes granted to him. So Rhys McKee steps in on short notice, and it's kind of like a hazing thing from when you wanted to join a fraternity back in college. I mean, you go out there, try to survive against Khamzat Chimaev, win, lose, or draw, you're in. And that's pretty much what happened to Rhys McKee here to get into the UFC. But the kid's not like half bad. Like, he's okay, and I think he could get some solid wins here in the UFC. And this is a solid matchup for him against Alex Morono. So the majority of his career, he has been fighting at lightweight. But the fight before the UFC, he went up to 170 and he knocked out his opponent within a minute. Obviously, he steps in against Khamzat Chimaev, does not go his way, but stylistically, a very, very difficult fight for him. I'm interested to know why exactly he moved up to welterweight, as I believe at 155, given his frame, he could give a lot of guys some issues, just as he did earlier in his career. Obviously, he's getting much older now. He's 25 years old, but he's 6'2" with a 78-inch reach. So even for welterweight, that's not a bad frame either. And it's definitely going to show in this fight against Alex Morono, who himself, I believe, is 5'11". Yeah, he's 5'11" with a 72-inch reach. So we're talking about a 6-inch reach advantage and roughly a 3-inch height advantage for Rhys McKee. And I think we'll definitely see that come to fruition in this fight. One thing with, let's stick on McKee. He did show good boxing from the outside, good Muay Thai. I love how he uses his range. He could obviously get better and better with using it, but we have seen in the past that he does a good job of sticking his jab out there, making it nice, long, and crisp right down the middle, and busts up a lot of his opponent's noses, which is, the mark of a good jab. If he can keep his feet moving and stay out of the range of the big shots of Alex Morono, he could definitely have a lot of success here, and I like that plus 170 tag on him. Going over to the great white Alex Morono, given that he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, you wouldn't really be able to tell that given his last couple of fights. More often than not, he just is willing to go out there and stand and strike with some of these guys, and it's worked out from him in the last 3 out of 4 of his fights. Obviously, the Chaos Williams, not so much. He goes out there and gets absolutely dusted within 30 seconds. But before that, the Max Griffin fight had a solid first 2 rounds. Even in that second round, you can make a statement that he could go out there and get a 10-8. He threw a beautiful combination that ended with a head kick that dropped Max Griffin, followed up with a bunch of shots, even a spinning elbow that kind of hurt Max Griffin as well, too. A lot of damage in that second round, and you see the growing confidence in his striking as well. He is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. That's something that he likes to highly tout. I believe he even has a jiu-jitsu tattoo or a Gracie Barra tattoo on his bicep. But like I said, in the last 3 fights, before the Chaos Williams fight, he was really going out there and just trying to outstrike these guys. In the Kanan Song fight, we saw a lot more winging shots, a couple kicks here and there. He was the one pouring out on a little bit more than Kanan, but it wasn't a blowout by any measure. Then the Zach Otto fight, we saw him do the same thing, and he did a good job of dropping Otto and then following up with ground and pound and getting the back and just, not really sinking in the choke either. That didn't seem like something that was primarily on his mind. He just wanted to go out there and just ground and pound Zach. And then the Max Griffin fight, solid, good 2 first rounds, and then that third round, it seemed like it started to wane on him, and we saw Max Griffin take over, get the takedown, and do some solid damage from on top. But again, we have seen a little bit of a progression and improvement in Morono's hands, but I think going up against a guy like Rhys McKee, who in my opinion is a little bit more crisp on the feet and has a better understanding of the distance, McKee should do a good job. Like, obviously he has to be very much on point for this fight, but he should be able to do a good job of getting his combinations off and getting out of the way, fully utilizing that 6-inch reach advantage that he has here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Morono try to go out there and try to, get this fight to the ground and implement his jiu-jitsu to try to get over the striking discrepancy here. But McKee doesn't have horrible takedown defense. And let's take the Khamzat Chimaev fight out of our head. That guy's going to take down pretty much 95% of the guys that he faces. McKee on the regional scenes seemed like he had pretty good takedown defense. He does a good job of digging for underhooks and then spinning and pivoting out of the way and getting off the cage and then start to implement his striking once again. And I think that's where Morono might have some issues here. Morono, not the greatest takedown artist, but a really good jiu-jitsu artist, and that's where the discrepancy for these jiu-jitsu guys really comes in, because every MMA fight starts on the feet, and if they're not able to get it to the ground, they're gonna have a hard time on the feet. But like I said earlier in the breakdown, Morono is showing a little bit more confidence in his hands, and obviously the work he's doing over there at Fortis MMA with Saif Sayoud is really paying off for him. This is a good test for him, though, to really see if, okay, his striking is up there, and his striking should continue to improve, and the confidence should continue to improve. But I think that McKee might have him outstruck here. So I do like the plus 170 on McKee. I think that might be a dog play for me here. Morono hasn't really blown my hair back regarding anything in his career thus far. He went into that Chaos Williams fight as a minus 400 favorite and gets absolutely dusted. Chaos Williams obviously fighting later on in this card. But yeah, he should have had a good fight in there with Chaos Williams, but he just got caught with a huge shot. I'm not sure if McKee will be able to put him away. Most of McKee's victories have come via finish as well, so that's something to look forward to. His gas tank has looked good when he has gone into the third round, which hasn't been too often. But yeah, he's another guy that's definitely improving every single fight. Alex Morono, 30 years old. Rhys McKee has 5 years less on him. But he's been fighting for a while now too. He turned pro in 2015. He made his first amateur fight in 2013. Alex Morono, on the other hand, turned pro in 2010 and had his first amateur fight in 2009. So experience-wise, obviously it goes towards Alex Morono, obviously being in the UFC as long as he has, had some tough fights, had some good moments. But Rhys McKee, I think, is still improving, and I think he has a solid edge in the striking department here. So it depends on, I believe in his chin. I think he should be able to withstand any of the shots coming from Morono's way, but I believe that most of those shots will be coming at the end of Morono's strikes, which may not have as much power or pop on them. So I do like McKee here. I'm not sure if he'll win by finish, though. The Morono is definitely durable. Chaos Williams has a ton of power, and I don't think that McKee has that type of power. But maybe in the second or third round, we'll see McKee turn it on a little bit more and possibly get a later finish. So I'll go at Rhys McKee to win this fight via third round finish, TKO probably, and I think he's a solid dog spot here. I think a lot of people are really shitting on McKee because of the Chimaev fight, but you kind of got to just take that fight out of consideration here, as I don't believe that Morono brings as much similar fighting style as Chimaev does. So once again, I'm going with Rhys McKee to win this fight via third round TKO.